What's up, everybody? Man, it's Bitcoin Day, January 11th, 2023. We got so many charts to cover today. We got some great information that's coming in regarding everything going on with ETF. Record inflows for an ETF. What does that mean? Does that mean there's already Bitcoin being bought by the ETFs? No, it does not. But it does mean that they do have to basically make those buy orders very soon. Is it going to be tonight? Is it going to be tomorrow? We got to fill those orders that these ETFs purchases have people buying the ETF have made. So let's talk about that. We got some great charts lined up. I hope you're all feeling pumped. I'm feeling pumped. I'm feeling good. Let's get everybody engaged in the chat. We broke 10,000 followers here on the BitLab stream. Shout out to each and every one of you here. We got some great things to cover. So everybody, let's get involved. I want to see some emojis flying. Let's get those emojis going from the members. Let's get those Bitcoin, those rockets, those the bulls. Let's get it flowing. I'm feeling good. I'm so excited right now that the Bitcoin price is pulling back a little bit because it is setting up for an astronomical moon rocket. Let's go. Are any of you in trades at the moment? I know a lot of people have been trading some, sharing some trades in the Discord, some wins they've been having. So happy to see it. It's probably a good strategy to stay a little bit on the sidelines today if you don't know what you're doing. But that's what we're here for at BitLab, to give you that playbook to understand exactly what you should be doing. But I think we're going to be seeing some really positive price action coming here very shortly. So let's stay vigilant. Let's do it, baby. Sawtooth says just a spot order for Bitcoin at 37K. Hey, I hope it gets down there. Close that CME futures gap below us. Only position trading is super. Hold on, I can't see it because of the. I can't see it because it's under a heart symbol on here. It'll pop up here in a second. What's up, BitLab fam? Says Red Elephant. Whoop whoop, says Donato Cabrera. Man, big love to each and every one of you. Let me ask. We're at 10,000 subscribers right now. Everybody that's here right now, can you remember when you tuned in? What level were we at when you joined? Were we under 1,000? Were we above 3,000? Were we somewhere in the 7,000 to 9,000? Let me know. Let's see how long you've been involved here. It doesn't matter if you've been one day or all year. Just happy to have each and every one of you here. Shout out to everybody. Man, let's go. Warren McCarty said jumped in a 25x long on Ethereum at 25.77 on the pullback. Let's see how that rides. Hope you don't get yourself wrecked with 25x, but make sure you're employing your risk management. Under 1K, says Justin Eubanks. Let's go. We're about to get it. So I'm going off the camera, the mic right now, and we're going to be jumping in here in just a moment. So let's get this chat flowing. Let's welcome all the people as they come in. We're about to get a huge number of people dumping in here from Discover Crypto. Let's welcome everybody in. Let's get this chat flowing. Let's ride this motherfucking dragon. All right, we got 47 people in here waiting before we get going. Let's get 47 likes. Let's drop this. We got some charts to share. Let's get it. Bitcoin, let's go. It's that day. Bitcoin ETFs are trading on the exchanges, retail world, trillions of dollars that have been unable to access this, or have they? They just don't have the know-how to engage with this crypto space. But you know what? Each and every one of you, you were here before the ETFs. You are ahead of the curve. You're ahead of the world. You're ahead of the institution. So everybody right now, Hit the like button for Bitcoin. Hit the like button for being ahead of the world. All of us, our whole life, wait for an opportunity that we can get in first. Even if you feel like maybe you got in at 2020, 2021, 2022. Maybe you got in at the market cycle top. It doesn't matter where you got in. If you got in before the institutions. So let's hit that damn like button. Subscribe to the channel right now. We just broke 10,000 subscribers. So shout out to each and every one of you here. And I want to ask, how you doing? How you feeling? I want everybody right now, list something in the live chat. What are you grateful for? Other than the Bitcoin, other than money, something in your life. Let's tune out of crypto for a split second and say, what am I grateful for today? Let's always ask ourselves that so we can get ourselves in the right mind frame so that we can attract the right things to us. Because if things are bad happening to you all the time, you got to ask yourself, what's the energy that I'm putting out? What's the lens that I have? How come these things are happening? Am I a victim? If you're asking yourself if you're a victim, then you're a victim of yourself, because everything has a silver lining. There are terrible things that happen in the world, and I'm not discounting that. Of course, there are terrible things, and I want to say, let's start this day with gratitude. Let's start this day with positivity. We got people flooding in the room right now, so everybody on your way and hit that like button. If this is your first time here, my name is Kellam. Welcome to the show, and I have a special message from a dear friend of mine that wanted to come on here and say something, and that is this gentleman right here. This is what he's got to say. Let's see. Boom. I pull it up. Let's see what he's got to say right here. Bitcoin! That is right. This is what is happening in the world right now. We have access to trillions of dollars to flow into this space, and we've seen some records being broken this morning. And why does this matter? How come the price is not going up astronomically the second we see this flow into the ETFs? There's some important considerations that we have to talk about so we can understand as traders and investors how we can ride this dragon. Do you want to ride this dragon with me? I know I want to ride this all the way to the top, and I want to take advantage of some of the best setups in the market. Best setups in history. We have supply shock on right now. It started about 2 years ago. We also have a huge amount of new money that's going to be coming in. And this doesn't even account for all of the positive press, all the positive news media that's going to be around this. Think about this. I want you to consider that once price breaks all-time high, historically has been an incredible amount of press coverage that's brought in new retail participants, retail awareness of the space. Bitcoin is now a legacy asset. It is involved with the institutions. BlackRock gave it the nod of approval. We have VanEck, we have 21 shares, we have GBTC, all the 11 ETFs that have been released and have access for institutions, businesses, retail, people that were not really sure about getting involved in the crypto market. But now, before the start of the true bull run, which is a halving in April 2024, which is only a couple months away, I should say, which is a halving that's in April 2024, only about 2 months away, right? We're getting all this news and press coverage of not only to the people that are interested in these risk assets, but also to people that previously have been absolutely resistant to the idea because Bitcoin is a scam, because all these people like Larry Fink and Jamie Dimon and mainstream media has absolutely drawn a negative narrative against Bitcoin. But now they flip the tune. We see commercials on Bitcoin. We see everybody wanting to get access to this. And this is going to be an absolute dragon that we can ride. Will you ride it to the top with me? Join us here on BitLab Academy. Hit that like button and let's take this to the top. That's something we all need to consider. We're getting news media press before the bull run's even started. Will we see a different type of cycle this time than we've seen previously? I would argue that there's a very high likelihood, very strong possibility that this cycle eclipses the cycle that we had previous. That doesn't even count. That doesn't even stand to count the fact that we had the last cycle somewhat suppressed with the Chinese mining ban right at the first top we had. Remember, we had a double top in 2021. We had the Chinese mining ban that just stole the wind out of the sails of that bull market. The previous bull market went up to the 3.618, and that was cut a little short comparatively with the previous cycles. If we went up to the 3.618, extension on this cycle, that alone would represent $200,000. So the question is going to be, do we see money flooding into this that really gets the ball rolling early and eclipse the type of gains that we saw in the previous cycle? I don't think we have, there's much less of a likelihood in the next cycle and all successive cycles after this for this to happen. We're still at that point of very early adoption, okay? And so every one of you, we are ahead of the biggest wave in history. Will we see the 10,000% gains that we saw in 2012? Probably not. But the difference is here, we still have the possibility this cycle to eclipse the gains that we saw in the previous cycle. It doesn't mean it has to happen, but I think the possibility is there because all of the chips have lined up. I think it's time right now to dive in and talk a little bit about what we want to talk about. And again, shout out to everybody that's here. Shout out to the 10,000 subscribers. We just eclipsed that mark yesterday. We do have a $100 giveaway that we are going to be doing at the end of this stream. If you haven't yet, head over to the BitLab Academy page right here. Head over to the BitLab Academy page. I'm pulling it up. 1 second. I just had to restart my computer. It is right here. Boom. Head over to the BitLab Academy page, retweet this tweet. And also, if you want to get involved with BitLab and have access to the premium Discord and all the courses and everything, this sale will expire late night tonight. You can use this code 10K30, gets you 30% off your first month. But if you retweet this, I'm going to be drawing from all the people that retweeted and liked this at the end of the stream. But we got some things to talk about. We got some charts to talk about. We got some price action to talk about. Let's look at what's going on in the markets. Ooh, okay, let's go ahead and do a little brag session right here for all of you. And as you see, we got the green studio because we are setting up for one of the most bullish times in history just on the market cycle basis, let alone all the things stacking in to leading to a bullish narrative set to explode. I'm not worried about this little pullback. I'm looking at this pullback as one of the last best opportunities that we're going to have to take advantage of what's in front of us. That's what we need to realize here. So when we're looking at this, let's get into the charts. When we're looking at this, we saw a very quick movement up to the upside right here. This is a 8-hour chart on Bitcoin, US dollar on Bitstamp. I want you to know something. This is looking a little bearish right here. Why? Because we have a push up, breakdown, push up, breakdown. Not only that, the candle bodies have lower highs. We do have a wick, and this is to be expected, especially with something as big and monumental and historic as having these Bitcoin ETFs approved and then launched the next day. Do you guys realize how important this is? Now, I want you to notice, this is on the 1-hour chart where we can see that wick that we just saw on the 8-hour chart. On the 1-hour chart, I just want you to notice, we had this sort of structure that we were talking about right here where we had this measurement from here to here, right? And we can see that this almost met that target. It kind of short ran it just a little bit. And this is to be expected. Why? Because we looked at the chart before these events were happening, and we've had this level marked out on the chart since January of last year. You don't believe me? Come over to my page right here at Kelly Kellam, Kelly Kellam. If you're not following me, I don't know what you're doing. Make sure you're also following the correct account. But this right here, I've been talking about this a lot lately. I drew this chart and posted it when? January 2023. So a year ago, I posted this of some sort of price action with the push up, some sort of pullback, and a working its way, rise, retrace, rise into the golden pocket. This pre-halving pump, well, I suggest it would likely take us somewhere in this zone. You know what that golden pocket is? 48 to 50,000. What happened? Well, this is exactly where we're at right now. Now, the question everybody has is, are we going to see something similar in kind, something that is not exact, but something that rhymes with the previous cycles, considering that we have access to trillions of dollars of potential capital flow into Bitcoin? In reality, it's probably going to be a percentage of that. And will that percentage eclipse the type of monetary energy as it relates to where the market cap is, that ratio, right? Because we need a lot more money now to move up a similar amount, where in the previous cycles, we needed much less money to move the price. We also have a supply shock. So are we going to see something where this just pushes up and we get a smaller pullback into the halving, like a rise, retrace, continuation? Or are we going to push up somewhere in this region? Are we even going to break $50,000? I think we are. I think we are in for fireworks over the next 2 weeks, considering what type of inflows we have on some sort of consistent basis. This is the key word right now. We had record inflows today. Let me say this again. We had record inflows today on the launch of the Bitcoin ETF in trading. Record, broke the records. Does this mean Bitcoin is just going to have God candles from here? Does this mean that those capital flows are going to continue? This is something that we all need to be paying attention to, and you should be watching BitLab Academy on a daily basis, 11:45 a.m. Eastern time, because we need to track this. Because what if this was some sort of huge pump that's front and loaded that then completely falls off a cliff and we see a drastic drawdown in what that capital flow is? That's a bearish scenario. That would represent probably a little bit of weakness for the bullish narrative to continue higher right now. But we're still pre-halving. Any pullback that we get right now is an absolute opportunity to get yourself better prepared and better stacked for the coming bull market that is truly about to explode sometime between March and May. Now, if these capital inflows continue to break records and they're consistent on a daily basis, they don't even need to go up, just consistent on these flows that we're getting, then we are going to see incredible buying pressure translate into the Bitcoin market when these different ETF institutions have to buy the Bitcoin in kind to support the purchasing and capital flows that are going into those ETFs. This is very important to follow. This is very important to understand. Do not let yourself get chopped out right now because you're trying to maximize your greed. It will pay you to be patient right now. It will pay you. Take a step back. Ask yourself what your plan is. Ask yourself, what is your strategy? And ask yourself, how are you diversifying your portfolio from long-term to short-term hold coins, long-term to trading, and what you're doing to protect yourself from your own emotions, but also still get access and exposure to this market. This is all very critical information. So we got 255 people in the room. I want every one of you right now, if you're bullish on this market, hit the like button, join us here, subscribe to this channel. Now, I want to go to viewer activity. I see we got a couple super chats. Maybe a Band-Aid said, DGen the like button on your way in. $2 super chat. Thank you so very much. JS said, let's go. You know what? Let's go. We got some things to talk about, and then we're going to be doing some TA. So let's get our charts open. Let's be looking at what you want to, looking at the different things you have an eye on. We're going to be talking about these things here in a moment. Now, a couple of things I want to talk about just so you have it on your records. Keep track of all these. Create a list. I'm going to show you how to do this. So we can see this right here. Let's come over to right here. This is my, let's come over here to list. We're going to go my list right here. Let's do create new list. I'm going to do ETFs. So this is the ETF. So there's a new list right here. So now what we can do, press this little plus button, do iBit, iShares, Bitcoin Trust. Okay, add that. Now let's do GBTC. This is going to be the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which is now the ETF. There. Now we also got FBTC, which is Fidelity. Fidelity Origin Bitcoin. Is this it? Yeah. Now, what was some of the other ones? We got HODL, which is the VanEck Trust, and there's quite a few more. We'll come back over to, where's it at? HODL, okay, ARK. Let's add ARK 2. This is the last one we're going to add now. You can add the rest on your own time. I just wanted to show you how to, actually, let me just double check here. ARK. Yeah, it's ARK, I thought. ARK B. ARK B. ARK B. There we go. Now we got these all added. You can go between and check out these charts on a regular basis. This is something we're going to be wanting to follow. And you can see all of these charts listed, and they started trading about the same time. They had basically a very quick run up. And then look at this information breakdown. This is to be expected. This is one of the reasons. Let me just pause here for a second. This is one of the reasons anytime you're trading or trying to get exposure to some new altcoin, for instance, trying to catch up to everybody else. You just heard about a new alt. It's about to be listed. All of it, most of, not all, most of us have done this. We get so excited. We're about to make huge gains. We buy something right on listing. It does a huge pump initially, makes you feel like you want to jump out of your chair because you're so excited, only to immediately dump right after. There's nothing different with this asset. There's a lot of pent up a lot of pent-up energy and positive bullish speculation around this for the last 10 years that has just exponentially grown. In June or July, when BlackRock listed their Bitcoin spot ETF application, and we saw, you know, the flurry, the dominoes fall with all these Bitcoin spot ETF applications. 21 ARK Invest was already in, and the what do you call it? The Winklevoss twins have had a Bitcoin spot ETF application in since 2013. It's finally come to fruition. Access is out there, and we saw the initial pump and then the dump. Does this mean it's over? No. It means it's only just begun. So let's stay patient. Let's enact our plan, and let's ride this dragon. So coming back over here, these are the ones that you should be following. Just checking in. You maybe don't need to follow all of them, but you need to be aware of all of them so you can know what's going on in the asset sector that you are trading and participating in. Now, a couple things. We're going to go through these very quickly, and then we're going to get right back into the charts because I know you guys want to see what's going on and what we can be doing to maximize what's going on here. Interesting to see the share prices of the new Bitcoin ETFs. This is in a massive. Let me actually go to this screen right here. I can go like this. I just changed this up earlier today. Let me go, boom. So what do we see these prices at? This is going to change. Actually, let's go back to this. $29. Okay. $28, $50, $44. What does this mean? Why is this so important? This is so important because there is a unit bias that people have in this market. And I want everybody in here, every single one of you, 270, jump in the comments right now. When you first got into the markets, it's okay. Let's all admit our ignorance. If we cannot be humble and admit what we knew and what we don't know, then we can never grow. We have to let go of this ego bullshit that all of us have, trying to pretend we know stuff just to look cool. Let's let that go. At any point in this market when you enter, did you ever consider, man, Bitcoin's high, but these other assets, Cardano, XRP, name it, doesn't matter. That's so much more affordable. I can buy that, and maybe it's going to go to the price Bitcoin is. At one point, I would say 99% of all of us have thought that. I was in markets before Bitcoin, so I had the same sort of cognitive dissonance, ignorance around stocks when I was trading those back in 2012. But this unit bias is a real thing. It's also one of the things that drives a lot of new retail into altcoins when they first get into the market because they think, man, Bitcoin's so expensive. One, people think because of stock markets and traditional assets, they think that they have to buy an entire unit of that asset, okay? They think they have to buy one Bitcoin. No, you can buy all the way down to, I think it's 100, it's divisible by 100,000 or something like that. You can get any denomination. You get $1 worth, $5 worth, $10 worth, or $48,000 worth of a full Bitcoin. You can get divisible portions. Retail, we hear about all this stuff on a daily basis because we're in the market. But the retail world, the large majority of the world coming into Bitcoin, they don't understand this. There's also some other that's still ignorant around this. But in addition to that, we also have a unit bias in that it feels better owning 40 billion of this meme token than it does having one Bitcoin, even though that one Bitcoin might have an exponentially larger value than the $150 worth of this name the meme token that is, has 700 trillion tokens. So the value is minuscule, but you have 40 billion of them. People feel good about that because it gamifies, and we need to get away from that. I want to look at the value of what I have in terms of Bitcoin. That's what I want to look at. I don't care about the total number I have. I want to know, is my US dollar value going up? But also, is my holdings in value of Bitcoin going up? Am I growing my Bitcoin, and is my amount of Bitcoin going up as well as the value of that? That's what we need to pay attention to here. So these much more ignorantly affordable assets, at $48, $28, $6. Interestingly, the BlackRock one, they must have more units because it has a lower price here. This is going to be interesting to see. It's another one of those positive sort of points to consider when people are getting in the market. It's like, well, I can get 0.2 Bitcoin, or I can get, 900 shares of this thing. That's going to be a real thing going forward. So we just need to pay attention to it. Now, let's see a couple other things. So $1.2 billion in trading volume in the first 30 minutes. This is a historic level. The Bitcoin futures ETF had about $2 million on their first day. This says $1.2 billion in 30 minutes. This is incredible. That was in the first 30 minutes. If we continue on here, we can see that the GBTC, here's the total volume in the Bitcoin spot ETF products as of a few minutes ago. Now, this was at 10:33. This is 1 hour after the market opened. Remember, Bitcoin ETFs are traded on the traditional finance market, so they open at 9:30 and close at 4 p.m. We need to be aware of this because we're going to now also have ETF gaps, much like we've had CME futures gaps on this market. We got new data points to consider, but also a lot more capital access. So I welcome these new data points because it means that we have more fuel for the fire that I know is going to burn in this bull market. So let's get excited about this. So 1 hour in, $1.5 billion. So let's continue on. It went up to 2.3 billion very quickly. And continue on here. We can see, I just wanted to point this out. Pentoshi here said, if you're not following Pentoshi, give him a follow. He's got a lot of great content. Day one volume record already broken on the Bitcoin ETF. What does this mean? It means for other digital currencies, well, there's going to be other ETFs that are coming. The question is going to be, is this process that has been done to fruition with ETF's launch for Bitcoin, has this cleared the path to make other ETFs have an easier sort of roadmap to follow? I think there's still going to be a lot of work to be done there because Gary Gensler still hasn't even fully come out and said that Ethereum is not a security. He kind of goes back and forth on what it is, a commodified security. There's a lot of different things going on here. Some people think Solana might be next and then maybe Cardano, and that there's a lot of different considerations here, but I wouldn't trade specifically on the hope of when those come. But I do think it's coming over the next 3 years. The question is going to be when. This is a great advertisement for the space. I already covered that. A ton of new eyes and entrants will come as a result. Because remember, there's going to be a lot of people, as Michael Saylor calls it, the 15-minute phone call or 15-second phone call. When, all these people, big money, also people with small money, they call their money managers and they say, hey, get me some access. Get me 1%, 5%, 0.5%. Give me some percentage access. I want in on this ETF. They don't have to go through the going through an exchange and setting up wallets and custody. Now, some would argue that this is a less effective way to hold Bitcoin, but for people that don't understand this market, they're just interested in getting some exposure to it. This is a way for them to do that without having to go through all the hurdles that all of you have done. And I commend you all for being here early when the convenience is not yet there. But that also means that more responsibility lies on you, but you also custody your tokens. So there's something to be said about that. But the convenience factor has always been one of the limiting factors for mass adoption in this space. Now, more convenience means less security. It also means less sovereignty. So you have to pick where you want to lie on that. I may get some exposure to the ETF with part of my traditional finance market investments just to have that as a part of my portfolio. But the majority of my net worth and the majority of what I'm doing is in Bitcoin itself and in my own custody. Now, you're going to have to determine what you want to do and how you want to be involved. But you have to consider somebody that might be 65, 75, somewhere in those ranges, or somebody that's not very technically apt, even in their 40s or 50s, may have been resistant to Bitcoin and crypto over the last 10 years because of all the lack of information or misinformation that has been there. Now is the time where we're going to start seeing those people capitulate on the idea that Bitcoin's bad and realize Bitcoin is the future. Let's be aware of that. Now, getting back over to what we're talking about here, we're going to be jumping into the charts here in about 3 to 5 minutes. So stick around. Everybody, let's get this over 150 likes. We got 282 people in the room. Let's let YouTube know that you're in on this crypto content, especially right now while the market is hot. Let's get this pushed out to more people. Now, come on, we're right here. This is what I was just talking about. Hello, BlackRock. I would like to sell some of my bonds. My grandsons have been talking for a few years about Bitcoin, but I was all that time against it. But now I see that you're also very positive about it. I would like to buy some of that ETF you got. This is going to be the narrative. Very parabolic sort of increase in awareness and acceptance of getting at least some exposure. This is going to be the narrative of 2024 into 2026. Reports, though, through all this, that Vanguard is completely blocking customer access to publicly listed SEC-approved Bitcoin ETFs, and customers can now only sell GBTC. Merrill Lynch, I think, is another one that's doing this. They're not allowing people to get exposure to this approved and legal and fully backed ETF, especially from BlackRock. There's 11 of them to choose from, but they're still blocking it. My question with this is, are they blocking it because they're still very against it and ignorant around all this? Or maybe, one thing I haven't seen anybody say, I haven't been able to really dive into the story, maybe they have some sort of Bitcoin-facing product that they're working on right now as well. So they're trying to limit people getting exposure through a different product outside of their house. We'll have to see how this plays out, but I think it's going to be a cascading growth into the future of people getting exposure to Bitcoin and allowing their clients to get exposure to Bitcoin too when we're talking about money managers. Now, when we're talking about GBTC, an important consideration here is that over the last couple of years, we've seen positive premiums and negative premiums. What does this mean? Down here, when you buy, you're getting more exposure to Bitcoin than the amount you're paying. In this case, this went down all the way here to minus 47%. This means you could almost double your exposure to Bitcoin for the same price that you're spending rather than just buying Bitcoin outright. Now, in this case, remember, this also means that you're not custodying that because you're buying an IOU from the GBTC trust, but this is now rolled over to ETF, and this premium has come back to basically right near equilibrium, right to zero. GBTC also has the highest fund fee of all the other Bitcoin spot ETFs. I think they're about 1.5%, whereas Bitwise is 0.2%. So there's two narratives here that we have to pay attention to on the flows of capital within some of these ETFs. I think there's going to be some people taking profits that were just trading this negative premium, and once we're getting back to this zero level, rotating capital out of GBTC because they rode that positive premium, so they're getting more gains than they would have if they just held Bitcoin, right? Because this premium's going back up to zero. So now they can sell that extended exposure that they have. But then in addition, because this is rolled over to an ETF, now there's going to be that fee that they could shop elsewhere and move their money if they still want it in this sort of Bitcoin product. They can move it into another Bitcoin ETF. BlackRock, Bitwise, 21 shares, all having lower management fees. So we got to pay attention to what's going on with that. Now, again, shout out to everybody that's followed over the last under a year. We've done over 10,000, I don't want to say subscribers, 10,000 community members. And I love each and every one of you. So right now, let's do a little bit of a roll call. Who's new here? Who's just started watching the last week or so? Where are all my OGs at? Let's see something you're grateful for. What city you tuned in from? What state? What are you doing? Are you buying? Are you selling all this volatility right now? Are you on the sidelines? And what was your lowest Bitcoin purchase? What price? Let's see how long you guys have been in the markets. So let's brag on this a little bit. Let's all be excited. And if you, by the way, if your purchase was $68,000, I would give you a high five just as much as somebody bought at $300. Because if your purchase was at $68,000 and that was your first purchase or among them, and you're still here, that means that you had the foresight, you had the longer term vision to know, man, that was a poor decision to buy at that point because of where the market was. And as it dropped, if you're still here through all that, then I commend you on your diligence in this market. Let's go ahead, move on. Let's talk about some of the things we got to talk about here. Glassnode showing right here. There's a little bit of a hesitation I have on extreme bullishness in the near term, but everything's getting thrown to the wind right now with TA, because where we're at right now, percent supply and profit, we see we're up here at same levels. Look at this. This is a pre-halving pump dump right here. We're coming up in that same level. Same thing happened. This was the halving. The halving was right here, but we see this coming up into this sort of zone. This represented, I think, a 45% pullback. right here with the halving splitting this price action. The point being right now, market is a little frothy in terms of how many people are in profit. But considering that we have new market participants that don't chart, that are basically using fund managers and also have been resistant to Bitcoin, let's be honest, they're not doing TA. They don't know where we're at in the market. There may be a flood of new capital that comes in that ignores what's going on in the previous cycles. And we may see a different dynamic change, but we cannot ignore what the previous cycle data suggests could happen. So let's not just go 100x longs thinking we're just going to be millionaires, because we're still going to see chop along the way. So let's go ahead, a couple more things, and we're jumping into the charts. This is that supply shock that we're talking about. It's already been enacted since halving number 3. See how the new, available supply has been increasing? Even though the available supply has been increasing, price has moved astronomically in this whole period, up something like some 1,000,000% or something from Genesis to this point, even here on this market dip, on this halving right here. This is where the dynamic of the market changed. And remember, when you're considering how to price an asset, and you're looking to the future where price can go, you want to understand what the supply schedule is, what the forecast for demand is going to be, and understand that price is a function of supply and demand. So if price action performs so astronomically well throughout this early growth of Bitcoin, but then now, even though we need more monetary energy, let's also consider there's another factor here that's sort of, I don't want to say discrediting that, but limiting that effect of the need for more monetary energy, because now the supply is decreasing over time, and we're about to come into another halving, which reduces the new daily supply by half again. This is in the same breath as saying we have astronomically higher number of people that are going to get exposure to Bitcoin, whether it's in TradFi through ETFs or on the exchanges. If they buy on TradFi, those ETFs have to buy from the market also. Some of it's going to be OTC, some of it's going to be within the market itself, but we're going to see an eating up of the supply that's available. And so when we look at this chart right here, if we come over here to favorites, come to balance on exchange, this is how much Bitcoin is on exchange right now. There's about 2.3 million, 2.3 million Bitcoin on exchange right now. Not very much. This is, I expect this to be going down over time. Now, the last thing I wanted to share before we, it doesn't matter. I want to do some TA. You guys want to do some TA? We got 286 people in the room. Shout out to each and every one of you. Let's talk some crypto. All right, let's get down here. Let's look at on the 24-minute chart, because there's going to be volatility going on throughout this day. Remember, there's going to be people that are a lot less informed than you are that are saying the ETF was launched, green candles, let's throw in our long. But the ETF is launched, approved yesterday, launched this morning. There's still going to be some hesitancy because of where we're at on the macro picture for people that have been in the market, that are trading and investing in the market. I don't mean on ETFs. They're looking at this and they're saying, man, on this macro picture, this golden pocket right here, remember, what is this? Let's draw a Fibonacci, which is Option F. If you're on a PC, it's Alt F. That immediately pulls up your fib. You just click on the screen after you put in those keys. And we can see this golden pocket right here, 0.65, 0.618. This is a golden pocket right here. You can see price levels 48,137 to basically 50,000. 48 to 50,000 is the golden pocket, and this is exactly where we're at right now. Why is this important? Price to just go up from here. Charted price is a representation of a mapped out visual appearance of what the market sentiment is over time. So you're reading the psychology of the market. That's really what you're doing when you're looking at this chart. So what you want to do is, this is why this area is so important. If we go back to this previous cycle, let's go ahead and zoom out on this just a little bit. I just want to point something out. Do Option F from the top. Let's go all the way to the bottom here, and let's drag this over. I just want you to notice something. Look at where price went to. Look at where price went to on this retrace up, and everybody thought this was going to continue. Golden pocket right here, which is representative of 13.5 to 13.8. And the price basically tapped inside that. People took some profits. So when you look at the different data sets in the market, rather than just saying price high, price low, that is how you get wrecked. The price doesn't freaking matter. The price is only something that helps you pick the actual trigger point to take the trade, buy or sell, based on an area, a region that you're looking at, and the underlying data that's supporting your thesis of the move that's going to come. In this case, the golden pocket showed that this was, an area for potential. This is the golden retrace, as they call it. Price tends to come back into this area, and if very bullish, you could break through, but you tend to get a little bit of a pullback, reloading, and then a continuation up, which is exactly what we got. But we also got this black swan. Now, in this event also, we can see even on the, look at this, on the BitLab TradingView, we're just going to see how this plays out on this current one. Bearish divergence, high, lower high, lower high. In the same time period, high, higher high, higher high. And so this was showing the underlying data was suggesting some weakness was coming in, then we broke down. So where we're at right now, we have to look backwards so that we can look forwards. Remember that. Where we're at right now, we're in this golden pocket area. There is an argument to be made because of this massive, biggest news story in the history of Bitcoin, other than the Genesis block, ETF exposure to trillions of dollars that have potential access to flowing into Bitcoin. The question is going to be how many people take that leap, and how quick is that leap going to sort of spread through the market. We've already seen record inflows at start, but that also could have been sculpted and set up to have that for a news headline. We might see a huge reduction in that capital flow. If that capital flow continues and we see mass buying pressure in the market, then we very well could cut through this golden pocket and push up higher, maybe into the 55 to 57 level. And then we get a bit of a pullback. This is a halving right here. We're coming up on this halving. But when we look at this, look at how high this is right here on the BitLab TradingView, BitLab Trading Stack. Look how high this is. Look where the price is. Look how high this is. Look how much higher the price is. Look how high this is. What do we see coming into this? As bullish as I am, we still have to be aware of what the technicals say, even though they can get thrown out of the window with all this news. This is showing that we've had a massive bearish divergence loading into this zone. And we also came back over here and we go right to that. What was that? Realized profit. Here we go. Realized profit. We're getting, that high percent addresses in profit. Remember, we're getting very high in this metric of how many people are in profit. We're coming up to that area. At some point, people are going to think about potentially taking some profits off the table. There's a lot of argument or debate, I should say, within the market between different analysts that this was a buy the rumor, sell the news event. So not everybody is so bullish to think that it's just going to continue from here. There is a split and a variety of different opinions about what this means in the market. We have to be aware of that. And I'm still hoping for a pullback on this price action to fill that CME futures gap that's down here at the 30. It's a little. It's at 39.6, I believe, right in this region. But I'm not going to guarantee that's going to happen. I just know that I am prepared whether price breaks to the upside or breaks to the downside. Remember that massive bearish divergence we were looking at? Also, we have the golden pocket, which tends to be a pretty good area to look for a potential reversal. And then now we're looking at the 12-hour, and what do we see? Price action. Look at this. Large momentum to the upside. Smaller momentum to the upside on these pushes. Now look how small this push has been so far, and we have an M formation. So I'm preparing for a potential pullback, which in the event that it happens is a huge setup for better positions for the bull run. I'm welcoming that this doesn't happen because as it stands right now, you could call this a little baby bull flag as it is, because we have a little bit of a trend line here, but it's very messy with all these wicks and such. And this is, I mean, the triangle here is basically, it's not really a bull flag because this flagpole's tiny. So what I'm looking for right now is patience. And I think a lot of people in this market right now, let me say this again. Right now, it's a little bit time to be cautious because the volatility that could come in based on the data of what the capital flows are over the next 48 hours to close out this week. Why is this? Because if capital flows slow down exponentially over the next day and a half, that shows that this was front end loaded for a bit of a news narrative. If we see a consistent flow between now and tomorrow to close out the week, then I think that gives us a higher sort of probability of bullish continuation from where we're at right now. But the technicals show that we have a bit of an M formation, potential reversal pattern. We have a massive bearish divergence that's formed over the last about month and a half, 2 months. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean we have to go down now? No, it does not mean we have to go down, because we have a different news event, the biggest news event in history of Bitcoin, with all these trillions of access to Bitcoin now through the ETFs. So the TA could get thrown out the window, but that doesn't mean that we ignore the different levels that we have to the upside and to the downside so that we can be prepared regardless of what happens. I want y'all to stay safe and stay in the know of what's going on, and stay with your strategy so that you don't donate your money to other people because you're just trading on emotion. Now, I'm still leaning bullish. I think there's going to be a little bit of chopping out. We see this chop out here, chop out here. But in this case, where we're at right now, I think we're going to see a little bit of softening of the bullish narrative, a little bit of consolidation in here, barring any other huge news story coming out throughout today. But throughout today and tomorrow, especially on tonight, the realization of all these ETF purchases that have happened, how is that going to be affected in the market? Because there's a couple other things I wanted to show. Where's it at? Coin. Oh, that must be the one that I deleted. I accidentally deleted a tab earlier. I couldn't figure out what tab I deleted. It was Bitcoin OTC, over the counter, reached a record level today, or overnight from yesterday. It was like $7 billion or something like that. I can't remember. I accidentally closed the tab. But we're going to be wanting to track these metrics. We're going to be wanting to track what's going on there, because at some point there's also going to be a squeeze on the OTC market. And how much of this ETF appetite is going to come into the traditional market, which is going to obviously drive up demand, which has an exponential effect on supply, which is what drives prices higher. Question is right now, are you bullish? Where do you think price is going to be? Where do you guys think price is going to be on Sunday? And do you think we're going to have any gap when the ETF closes Friday evening? Remember, Bitcoin trades over the weekend. So now we have to watch for where those gaps are, much like we did with the CME futures gaps. It's another target for us to be looking at when price action moves over the weekend. I think we also have to watch for the Asian market tonight and what they do with the Bitcoin price, and also any exposure that any of those people get to the securities that we have here, all these ETFs. Now, let's go ahead and look at a couple other things on here. Ethereum absolutely moonshot up here. Look at this. Broke this level that we talked about. This is that area that I was talking about clearing. We cleared it. This is on the 4-hour time basis. It looks like it's maybe getting a little overheated right now, but I think everybody's waiting on what this data is going to be with the ETF capital flows and everything. My chart's not up. My bad. My bad. Saying my bad to you guys. There we go. So we see this moonshot up here, cleared this region. We're up in this area. Let's go to the 12-hour chart. 12-hour chart. There we go. And look at this. I just want you to pay attention to something. Right here. This is something that I can see happening with Bitcoin. Remember, charts and formations repeat on different assets and on different time frames. See this? These impulses up, and then we got an impulse up, M formation, flushing people out. And then we get this long liquid, this basically long flush out of open interest to the downside. Look at this, huge wick to the downside, comes back up, consolidates, and then basically pushes to the upside. This is something I could see potentially even happening with Bitcoin over the next 24 hours on a smaller time frame chart. Clearing out all these people that are so excited, they want to leverage long just because the ETF. We have a lot of data to be paying attention to here over time. Look at all these emojis flying in the chat. Got Gary Gensler here. We got to put a Gary Gensler as a party emoji. So shout out to all the members that are here tuned in. Big love to each and every one of you. And shout out to all the new people that are here. If you haven't subscribed yet, it'd be my honor if you join our community, because we have an empowering, engaging, wonderful community. And by the way, shout out to some of our members on our BitLab Discord. I did a couple trades yesterday, 68% there. We also see Shake and Bake up 302%. He's in the room right now. We also see Morel, one of our guys here at Hit Network, 105%. I did another trade this morning, jumped in and out in like 10 minutes while I was setting up for this show. Just rode the dragon for a quick bit, 66%. We see Alexandra G in the house, our main mod here on this channel, and our mama to the, we love her so much, up 205% this morning in a trade. Big love to all you guys. We've been sharing setups and different things and gems and all kind of different stuff in here. And by the way, if you guys haven't checked out, those of you that are members, look at this. Spot on ETF is up 50 to 6%. Average entries around, his average, John Dalton, if you're not following him, shares so many pro charts and setups. He's a pro trader. And he's one of our best assets in the Discord. So make sure you're following him. His average entry was 1670 to 1720. He's trading on spot, not leverage. And he's up 50 to 60% without having to expose himself to more risk. TA Tim has been sharing some really great breakdowns in the mornings on different things to be considering in the day. So make sure you're checking out this channel here. And if you want access to this the premium Discord, the members area, because everybody, all of you that are watching right now, you can go join for free right here to get into just the general discovery zone where we have open chat, team charts, a whole news roundup of all the things that we're watching to cover content on, and different announcements and all kind of stuff in here. But the member zone down here, this is where the juicy stuff is. All you have to do is head to bitlabacademy.com. We got the courses for you. You can also watch us here live on BitLab. These are just organized and broken down into very succinct lessons per topic. And then, of course, we have the indicators and all this kind of stuff. But when you buy access to BitLab Academy, you get the premium Discord, which is really where there's so much continuing education here in community. So big love to everybody that's part of that. Now, let's go ahead and look at these couple things before we go. Man, we're going long today, but it's okay. I love you guys, and I love being here. We started late so we can go long. So we got strong buying volume here on the 12-hour. You see these teal candles. Now we have stopping volume. There's a little bit of concern, not concern. The narrative is a little concerned which way we're going to go because Bitcoin just hit that golden pocket. If Bitcoin really drops, we may see an opportunity. We may see it pull down some of the altcoin market as well because there's people that have been in the market that are waiting for that pre-halving pullback. But there's new participants coming in that they don't even know what the hell the halving is. So we're having a battle of narratives right now. So let's not get ourselves in a position without managing our risk here. Because in this case, we have this level right here. I could see on ETH, for instance, this coming back and testing somewhere in the zone before continuing up. Because look at this, on the 1 hour time frame, we lost the trend signal line right here. And so if we kind of have any sort of push up into this and reject and come down, I'm looking at coming down into this order block zone right here, this little square that you can see on the BitLab volume automatically draws you what area of interest you should be watching for. We have another area of interest right down here. This is a shaded block. It's on the BitLab trading stack. You can get part of the BitLab Pro if you want to get that, or you can just get the indicators by themselves right here, BitLab Academy, click on indicators. And remember, just a reminder, if you want to get access, we still have this code right here, 10K30. Use the code at checkout, apply, and you get 30% off your first month. So get in there. I'm telling you, join us. We got the best community out there. Look at all these little swings I've been taking on the 1 minute chart. Where are we going? Okay, ETH. So this is looking like it very well could be setting. Look at this. We have a little bit of shoulder head. Are we going to get some sort of shoulder here, which would be representative of this actually coming up and testing this trend signal line to potentially break down? And if you look at this, I'm not saying this is head and shoulders yet, but it could be in formation. I just want to point something out. I can tell just by looking at this measurement, if this broke down, this goes right down into that exact area I was just talking about. So let's be prepared if it does and not be so worried if the price drops, because this is the normal movement of markets. Up, retrace, continuation. This is what scares everybody. But when you understand this, you can utilize it to your benefit. This is what we want to watch. Now, if we get a rise, retrace, and we get much weaker momentum here where we're not getting a large, see this large movement, much smaller movement here. If we get another very quick retrace, that sees a new low, you see how we had a low there? If we get a new low, this is signaling a likely, not guaranteed, reversal back to the downside. And what does that look like right there? Head and shoulders. This is one of those things that we can pay attention to in the market. Market dynamics, patterns, and shapes give you an idea of the shifting winds of the bullish and bearish narrative in this market. So let's go ahead and look at a couple other things. I just actually, before we do that, ETH BTC, you see ETH BTC finally, after many, far too long, we got here on 12 hour. This has just been bleeding against Bitcoin, the value of ETH. And look at this, on that fake out the other day from Gary Gensler in the SEC, this exploded on that. Now the question is going to be here, this is representative of if Ethereum is moving faster than Bitcoin, okay? If this breaks this level, which we're flirting with right now, then we may be in store for another, basically work its way up to this next level up here at 0.06066, which is not a bad move. Because think about this, consider this. If this were to be the case, this is another 7% move more than Bitcoin would be moving in the same period. They both could be going up, but if this is happening, this is they also could both be going down, but this is representative of ETH carrying better value in relationship to Bitcoin. So this is good. This is good for the altcoin market as well. We also see here crypto total market cap. Look at this, man. Ooh. Look at where we're at. So crypto, the total 3. Yeah, I thought it was on the totals. Like this should be much higher. We flirted up here with somewhere near the all-time highs. This is for the altcoins, everything except Bitcoin and Ethereum. But this is looking a little bit like we may have a little bit of a hesitation here because this is a large, there's no way. Hold on a second. That's too zoomed in. That's what, yeah, this is what I was looking for. Yeah, $1 trillion. I was like, why is it 500 billion? This is looking, on the 3-day chart, this is looking good. But when we get down to that daily chart, we're getting a little bit of a hesitation in this region. This is a 12-hour chart. This representative, maybe a little bit of a pullback is in store. Maybe something's coming. We're going to want to watch what happens with all this data and news over the next 24 hours, next 48 hours. Things can shift very quickly when the bull trends really get kicked engaged. Because this is looking right here. This is looking like a potential reversal. So this little, meaning downside reversal back to the upside. So things are a little bit hinky right now in terms of what's going on with the altcoin market because some things are performing incredibly. We also see Cardano woke up a little bit here. But the question here is you have to pay attention. We have this support. We broke down from the support. This move is great. But this move does not say Cardano is just going up and away from here because we still have not we very well could just be testing this support line. We could also even move this down a little bit like this. See from this wick, this wick didn't quite get there, but wick right here. This very well could be coming up to test this to reverse back to the downside. I'm not saying it is, but we have to pay attention to that. Now, we want to clear this 62 to 65 cent zone. And we have all of this chop that we had in here. So we're going to have to watch what happens when Cardano gets back up into the zone. We really want to watch on this. If we get rejected here, if we're coming down and forming a higher low, that's what we want to see here. Because we have these two trend lines. If we come down and bounce maybe right here, why? Because this is where this previous, this is a W formation. This may come down and tap this and then work its way up. Remember, what I'm suggesting a potential downside could just be a retest of a breakout. So if this does get rejected here, it comes down, finds support here, and the bullish narrative of the market really starts pushing again, this would ultimately be quite bullish. W formation, potential reversal, right? Push up, retrace, continuation, and then we have this to contend with, retrace, continuation to the upside. AVAX I want to look at because that was it's just one that's been highly on my radar for this cycle. Now, 12-hour chart, look at this. That roundingness we talked about over here, potential drop, we got the drop. But now, this drop here, I want to just see some. Option T from the top to the neckline, measure this out. And look at this. The breakdown from the neckline, this wick almost goes to the exact target that this head and shoulders told us to look for. Now this came down and bounced right here and formed a W formation with a higher low. So this is fairly good. In addition to this, we have a neckline right here that we broke out of, but we're hesitating where previous price action. This is to be expected, especially while we got a massive news story. Everybody's bullish. They traded the speculation on it. Now that liquidity's in the market and people, there are the other narratives of people taking profit at that $48,000 level on Bitcoin. And there's a little bit of, okay, let's see what these capital flows are and let's see what the process is of these ETFs when they get the exposure from the exchanges or the over-the-counter market, and how this is represented in price and demand over the next 48 hours. So things are looking great right now. Things are feeling good right now. Are you in a good mood about this market? Have you been preparing? And what's your born on date? We got 269 people in the house right now watching live. Everybody in the room right now. What is your born on day? What's the month and year that you made your first purchase in crypto? And what was the first asset? Some will be Bitcoin, some will be Doge, some will be, doesn't matter how you got here. I'm just happy you're here. I'm appreciative of you. I want us all to find gratitude for each other. I want us all to be bastions of positivity across the grander crypto ecosystem, and chats and chat rooms on other people's chats and on Twitter. Let's not be trolls. Let's drive people to information, education, and open their minds, not through argument, but through data and facts. I love you guys. I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. I'll be on the blockchain basement later. Tune in there and make sure you check out bitlabacademy.com. We got all the information you need. You can share it with friends and family as well. From the beginner stuff all the way to trading. And we're working on more content to go in here as well. But the Discord always is having new things that we're adding in here, and different offerings and classroom sessions, all here, part of the BitLab Academy. So get involved. I love you guys. Oh, we got to do the giveaway. I almost forgot. $100 giveaway. Alexandra G. I almost always forget this because I'm just rolling through all this data on here. So let's go ahead and lock it up. Last chance. Everybody, if you want to get involved in this giveaway, last chance. Come over here. Retweet this. You can retweet that. I'll give you about 2 minutes. And we're going to do the giveaway. We've got 167. Ooh, man, everybody. This jumped from earlier. So let me log out of this, go into BitLab Academy, and we are going to do it. $100 giveaway. Kelly Kellam's money right into your pocket, just as a love and appreciation. I really do love you guys. All right, so let's do it. Let's see who's getting it. And in order to get this, I want you to go into the Discord. You can sign up for free. The link is down in the description. Alexandra G, share the link for the Discord in here. Go in there and tag me in a post, and then also send me a message. I will actually send you a message on Twitter. So look out for that, and we're going to make sure it's the same person, and that's how we're going to get it over. Now, log in to Twitter right here, Twitter picker. Let's see. Link to your, am I logged in? Log in, there we go. Authorize app. Man, I'm so excited, everybody. We did it. We've been waiting. Bear market felt like it was never going to end. And then we go back and look at that macro picture and realize, oh, it was right on schedule. We were just being, picky and impatient. So must have liked. There we go. Now, here we go. $100 USDT. Could be USDC too, whichever you prefer. Let's see who won that. Get Twitter data. Yeah. Wait, there must be more than that. Oh, man. Give me 1 second. I've got to sign up for premium. Subscribe now. Boom. Oh, it won't let me do it. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. I am. Rody Jason, shout out to you. Big love to you. $100 USDT to you. I appreciate you. I'm going to be sending you a message right after this. So or you make sure you're following me on Twitter at Kelly Kellam. It's right over here. KELOYKELLAM. Add me. I'm going to be sending you a message and get in the Discord. We'll get this all sorted out. Big love to each and every one of you. Remember on these charts to zoom out and realize this is up and to the right over time. This has been one 14-year bull market with rise, retrace, continuation, right? When we zoom in, it feels like this is a never-ending bear market. So let's be patient. We've got some astronomical things to come in this market. So with that being said, I love you guys. I appreciate you. And I think we got one more thing to share before we go, just on the way out. And that is this right here. Let's go ahead and bring them up one more time. Before we go, I want you all to say this with me. Let's do it on the way out. Bitcoin! That's right. Big love to each and every one of you. That's all I got. I'll see you in Blockchain Basement and in the Discord. Go share your trades, see what you're doing. That's all I got. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you, BlackRock, for coming in. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for being here. We beat all these mother institutions and all these other people that were not friend. We're in the market before the world. Let's get it.